Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really big one, a huge milestone for many people in the business world, transitioning out of your business.
That's right.
And our focus today is squarely on boomer-aged business owners. The book we're looking at calls them babos. And this deep dive, it's really for you, the learner, if you want to get your head around this whole process quickly, thoroughly, without getting totally bogged down.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a great guide for this. It's a book called Moving Forward by Eric Gilbord. Came out in 2016.
Very good.
Published by Soho Marketing Inc. And, it's not just general advice. It's really dedicated to babos, looking at their specific experiences, their successes, and maybe more importantly, the frustrations they face when they start thinking, okay, what's next?
Right. So our mission today is basically to really dig into moving forward, pull out the absolute key stuff, give you a solid handle on what you need to consider, the challenges, the opportunities when you're thinking about selling or transitioning. The author even says it can feel like having a bag over your head.
That's a powerful image.
Isn't it? We want to help take that bag off today, bring some clarity.
And it's definitely the right time for this conversation. I mean, just the sheer number of business owners in that Babo category.
Born 46 to 64. Yeah.
Exactly. It means this is just getting more and more relevant. The author actually shifted his own focus. He used to do broader business consulting, but he saw this growing need, this interest from Babos specifically.
Makes sense.
And what he kept hearing, apparently after talking to them, was this feeling of, wow, I learned something really valuable, and also, gosh, there's way more to this than I first thought.
Yeah, that rings true. It's not just a passing thought for many, is it? There's a real urgency building. The book points out the average age for boomers is, mid-60s now? And things outside your control, health maybe, or big shifts in your industry, new competition, those things are eventually going to force a decision anyway.
Yeah, they often do.
Yeah.
And that statistic you mentioned earlier.
The 90%.
Yeah, 90% of owners who aren't prepared are going to really struggle with the transition. That's huge.
It really makes you stop and think. It's not just about kicking back, playing golf, traveling.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Gilbert really stresses that for a lot of these owners, it's about finding a fulfilling next step, something meaningful after the business.
Right. So it's more than just an exit. It's stepping into something new.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get into the decision itself. The book says it's not just, black and white, sell or don't sell.
No, not at all. He talks about this huge gray area in between selling right now and the dying with your boots on scenario.
Okay, that gray area sounds interesting. What's in there?
Well, a lot of potential, actually. It's not just if you sell, but when and how. And importantly, recognizing you might be able to actively increase the business's value before you sell.
So work on the business first to get a better price later.
Precisely. That proactive approach can make a massive difference to the final outcome, financially speaking.
And the deals themselves, they're not always straightforward cash up front anymore, are they?
No, far from it. Gilbert highlights, all sorts of deal structures now. Money up front, money later, partnerships, earnouts. Lots of creative ways to do it.
But no magic wand.
Definitely no magic wand. He's clear on that.
Yeah.
No real shortcuts. It's still a big, complex thing to transition a business successfully. And the book points out even really successful owners have hit bumps in the road during the selling process. It happens.
So if you're a bebo just starting to think about this, where's the first hurdle? What stops people from even, getting started?
The book really zeroes in on this. It says the very first stumbling block is often just taking that initial small step, making the decision to decide almost.
Why is that so hard?
Well, think about it. Decades building something. It's not just work. It's emotional, deeply connected to your identity, your legacy.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like selling a piece of yourself.
Kind of, yeah. And what's fascinating is that these are often incredibly savvy business people, right? But they find themselves surprisingly unprepared for this one specific transaction.
The biggest one of their lives, probably.
Exactly. Likely the single largest sale they'll ever make. And the book really stresses waiting, putting it off. That can actually hurt you.
How so?
Well, a business can become less desirable over time. Maybe the industry changes, maybe key people leave, maybe you just lose momentum. So this moving forward idea the book talks about, it's meant to be a bit of a wake-up call.
Right. Get moving before you have to.
Yeah. And it seems like the book tackles both sides, the emotional stuff, the attachment, the fear of the unknown. and the really practical things you need to do to get ready for a sale.
And it's not just for the owner, is it? The book suggests others can benefit from understanding this perspective too.
Yeah, that's an interesting point he makes. Family members involved, potential buyers. Understanding where the seller is coming from, emotionally and practically, can smooth the whole process.
Okay, what about the classic question? DIY versus getting help. Do it yourself or bring in the pros?
Oh, Gilbert is very firm on this one. He strongly advises against DIY for selling a business.
Really? Why?
He uses the analogy of selling a house. Sure, you could do it yourself, list it online, handle viewings.
But most people use an agent.
Right, because it's complex, there are legal pitfalls, negotiations. Selling a business is that times 100. He calls it DIY. Do it for you or do it with you.
DIY, okay.
His point is trying to run your business day to day and manage a complex sale process at the same time. It usually doesn't end well. Something suffers, usually the sale price or the business itself.
Makes sense. Okay, so why do people sell? The book lists some common reasons, triggers.
Yeah, he outlines 10 common triggers. It's quite a range.
Oh.
Well, some are negative, unfortunately. Serious illness, death of a partner or loved one. Sometimes a business partner just wants out. Big changes in the industry can force your hand.
Okay.
Then there are things like the kids don't want to take over the business, or simply wanting more time, more enjoyment out of life. Needing the money for retirement is a big one.
Feeling burnt out, maybe?
Absolutely. Tired. Or maybe your spouse retires and you want to join them. And a really common one now, wanting to see the grandkids grow up, spend more time with family.
That's a really comprehensive list. Covers a lot of ground, personal and business. It's rarely just one thing, is it?
Almost never. It's
Yeah.
usually a combination.
So, okay, you're thinking about it. Maybe one of those triggers has hit, but there's so much you don't know. How do you deal with that uncertainty?
Yeah, that's a huge factor. Gilbert talks about this paralysis that comes from not knowing what you don't know. You don't even know what questions to ask sometimes.
So what's the advice?
Be proactive. Go find the answers. Read books like his, obviously.
Yeah.
Use the internet, sure. Talk to friends or colleagues who've been through it. But most importantly,
Talk to experts.
exactly, engage with people who do this for a living. Brokers, M&A advisors, experienced lawyers, and accountants.
What are the big unknowns that really worry Babos?
The book lists a few key ones, just the whole selling process, end to end. What does it actually involve? What's life going to be like after the sale? That's a big one.
Yeah, the identity shift.
Huge. Then what's my company actually worth? Not what I think it's worth, but realistically. Who do I need on my team to help me? How much is all this help going to cost? And crucially, what happens to my employees? People worry a lot about that.
Understandably. And as you said, it's likely the biggest single sale they'll ever handle.
Right. Massive stakes.
Does the current market play into this much?
Oh, definitely. Gilbert makes the point, if your business is in good shape, he calls it buy-worthy, then right now it's often a seller's market.
Meaning more buyers than good businesses for sale.
Generally, yes, which is good leverage if you're ready. But then he poses some tough questions for owners to ask themselves.
Ditch ass.
Like, are you still trying to make back value lost in some past recession? Do you genuinely believe nobody else could possibly run your business? Are you comfortable having almost all your wealth tied up in this one thing?
All your eggs in one basket?
Pretty much. And have you actually thought about what you'll do with the money if you sell? It sounds obvious, but many haven't.
The book mentions something called start down. What's that?
Start down is basically Gilbert's term for the point when you should seriously start thinking about the end game, when you start planning your exit, even if it's years away. It's the beginning of the end in a planning sense.
Okay, start planning the down phase.
Exactly. And he backs this up with some pretty eye-opening stats about Canadian Babos. Around 550,000 of them.
Wow.
Over 3/4 plan to sell within 10 years. But less than 10% actually have a formal exit plan.
That's a huge gap.
Isn't it? And get this. Over 82% expect the sale to fund the retirement.
So, huge reliance on the sale, but very little planning for it. That sounds risky.
Extremely risky. It points to a potentially very crowded market down the line, too. Lots of businesses potentially for sale at the same time.
What's the alternative if you don't sell? Just close the doors.
Some do, but Gilbert points out the negative ripple effects of that on employees, suppliers, the community, the economy. It's often not the best outcome.
Yeah.
And he kind of gently pushes back on the die with your boots on idea as a default strategy. It might feel noble, but is it really the best plan?
What about your regular advisors, your lawyer, your accountant you've used for years? Can they handle the sale?
They're essential for running the business, no doubt. But Gilbert cautions that if they don't have specific M&A mergers and acquisitions experience,
Buying and selling companies.
right, if they don't specialize in that, you might end up selling for less than you could have. He really emphasizes the potential to burst the company's value, the EBITDA, the sale price, by making targeted improvements before you sell.
In things like sales, marketing.
Sales, marketing, operations, the team, the financials, all of it. There's often hidden value you can unlock.
He even talks about the little things buyers notice, right? Like when they tour the place.
Oh yeah, the obligatory tour, he calls it. Buyers are looking past the surface. They notice inefficiencies, staffing issues, lack of clear strategy. It's not just about the numbers. They're assessing the whole operation, its health, its future.
So the advice is to step back, work on the business, not just in it, rekindle that initial spark.
Exactly. Get it running smoothly, strategically, make it attractive.
It's clear this isn't just about the mechanics of the sale. It's about the business itself and planning for life after.
Absolutely critical. Planning for your own future, but also for your stakeholders, employees, customers. Gilbert has this section, would V's could.
Would versus could.
Yeah. Highlighting regrets owners have later, wishing they would have sold sooner, or wishing their kids could have taken over if only they'd planned for it properly. Things like that.
And he keeps coming back to this idea that you can't really do both things well at the same time, run the business and sell it.
He hammers that point home.
Right.
You can't effectively manage the day-to-day and navigate a complex, time-consuming sale simultaneously. The ideal scenario.
Yeah.
The business runs smoothly without you needing to be there constantly.
That's a huge selling point for a buyer, I imagine.
Massive. Shows the business is mature, stable. He even jokingly references that Clash song, you know.
Should I stay or should I go?
That's the one. Captures that internal tug-of-war Babos feel.
The book lays out some pretty stark statistics about this whole Babbo world, doesn't it?
Yeah, some really sobering numbers. Like Babos own, 63% of private businesses in North America?
Wow.
And for most, 80–90% of their personal wealth is tied up in that business.
Huge concentration of risk.
Exactly. And while 76% plan to transition in the next 10 years, get this, 75% regret their decision 12 months after selling.
75% regret it. Why?
The book doesn't explicitly detail all the reasons, but it implies a lack of planning for what comes next, maybe dissatisfaction with the deal, or just the emotional difficulty of letting go.
Yeah.
And another shocker, 70–80% of businesses listed for sale just don't sell.
They just linger on the market.
Or get pulled off, or closed down. It's tough. And family succession. The stats are brutal. Very low survival rates past the first generation.
It really paints a picture of maybe widespread unpreparedness.
I think that's fair. Most are 50, 69 years old. Most have under $5 million in revenue. But familiarity with transition options, really low, only 24%.
And almost none have a proper transition team or have had any formal education on it.
Right. 88% haven't set up a team, 86% no formal education. And things like planning for key person illness or death, 2/3 haven't done it. Half have no post-transition plans for themselves.
It seems many are just hoping it'll somehow work out.
Pretty much. And the book warns against that, thinking of, oh, I'll just hang on a bit longer, squeeze more cash out.
Risky strategy.
Very. Because things can change fast. Now, he does say there's a silver lining. You can potentially increase value and sell for more later if you're strategic about it.
But the core message is
not okay to wait any longer. The decision will likely be made for you eventually by health or the market or something else if you don't make it yourself. He also warns against inflated ideas about valuation and reminds people a full exit takes time.
How long?
Typically 3 to 5 years, from starting this serious planning to actually completing the transition.
3 to 5 years. Okay, let's shift focus to the buyers. What does moving forward tell us about understanding their side of the table?
That's crucial. The book stresses how different buyer and seller perspectives often are. Buyers get frustrated with unprepared sellers, unrealistic price expectations.
And sellers are worried about
getting the best price, obviously. But also, what's my life like afterwards? What happens to my people, my legacy, finding the right buyer, not just any buyer, getting cash at closing, making sure everyone's treated fairly, respect.
Makes sense. And the buyers, what are their main drivers?
Buyers are looking for a good fit, strategically. Best price, naturally. Least amount of risk. No nasty surprises during due diligence.
Honest numbers.
Absolutely. Honest financials are key. They want to see value for their investment, a clear path to getting their money back, plus a return. Growth potential. How easily can they integrate this business? They'll dig deep into earnings history, management team, customer concentration, industry trends, employee morale, everything.
The book breaks down buyers into different types, right? 7 of them.
Yeah, 7 main types. You've got your strategic buyers companies in the same field looking for synergy.
Okay.
Private equity groups investing to grow and sell again in, say, 3-7 years. Family offices investing in single families' wealth, often longer term. Holding companies buy and hold, maybe more hands-off.
Right.
Search funds, entrepreneurs raising money to buy and run one company. Your own employees, maybe through an ESOP. And then newbie buyers, individuals buying a business, maybe for the first time.
And each type has different motivations, different things they look for.
Totally different. Different pros and cons for the seller, depending on who the buyer is.
And sellers themselves fall into different camps, too.
Kind of. Gilbert talks about 2 flavors. There's the peaceful seller, proud, profitable, organized, looking for a smooth handover.
The ideal scenario.
Pretty much. Then there's the seller under loads of pressure. Maybe sales are down, financials are messy, they're stressed, maybe a bit desperate.
Knowing what you are is probably important.
Definitely. Helps you prepare realistically.
Let's talk valuation again. Sellers often have a number in their head.
They almost always do. And the book asks, where did that number come from? Is it based on reality? Getting a proper objective valuation is just critical.
And it's not just the number, is it? Buyers want to know why you're selling.
Yes. The why in the equation, Gilbert calls it. Buyers want to understand your motivation beyond just money. Are you tired? Is there a health issue? Are you excited about something else? It matters. Even how your employees answer questions about why the boss is selling tells a story.
Interesting. We talked about making the business sellable. The key seems to be making yourself irrelevant.
Yeah, striving for irrelevance is the idea. Building a business that runs smoothly without you having to be involved in everything, that's super attractive to a buyer. Reduces their risk massively.
Must be hard for owners to let go of that control, though.
Oh, incredibly hard emotionally. But it's a sign of a mature, valuable business.
Which brings us back to the emotional side. It's huge in this whole process.
Absolutely massive. The book says, you're ready when you're ready. But it stresses the internal mindset that's 80% of it. The external logistics are only 20%.
And your spouse's view is important, too.
Hugely important. Got to be on the same page. Gilbert talks about the emotional roller coaster, the second thoughts, the anxiety, and thinking about work-life balance. What do you actually want more time for? Family. Grandkids.
He suggests people might already be in change mode without realizing it.
Yeah, doing things like updating wills, checking finances, planning big trips, getting healthier, downsizing the house, even just thinking more about the company's long-term future. These can all be subconscious signs.
What about those who feel like they've left it too late? Running out of runway, as the book puts it.
It's a real fear. But the advice is still, explore your options. Take the first step, even if time feels short. Just start the conversation. He compares it to other scary first steps you took in your career, starting the business maybe. You got through those.
He shares a personal story too, doesn't he? About deleting a contact.
Yeah, quite poignant. Deleting a contact who passed away, just a stark reminder that life is unpredictable. Plan while you can. He even mentions listening to that Jackson Browne song.
Running on empty.
Yeah, as a way to reflect on the life cycle of things, including a business.
So what are the concrete actions owners should take? For themselves, for the business?
First, really figure out what you want next. Beyond just retirement, what does that next phase look like for you? Then, identify what's blocking you, what's standing in the way of your happiness, and just take one small step to address it.
Avoid complacency.
Definitely. Act on those ideas you've had, personal or business. Embrace continuous improvement, Kaizen. Change yourself, change the business.
And get aligned with your spouse or partners.
Absolutely critical. He makes a great point that the skills needed for a good marriage, communication, planning, respect, compromise, are exactly the skills needed for good business partnerships.
Being married makes you a better entrepreneur.
That's the phrase. He also talks about gratitude. Thank you for making money. And maybe thinking about philanthropy, growing the business a bit more to give back more later.
The core message seems to be, don't stay ignorant.
Yeah. Ignorance is not bliss. Living your dream is. And he gives some assurances. It'll take longer than you think. You need the right team. There's a lot to learn. Competition is increasing, and putting it off is costly.
He tackles procrastination head on.
Yep. Let's talk about procrastination. What's holding you back? Identify it. Deal with it. Focus on the 80-20 rule. Work less. Accomplish more by focusing on what really matters.
What about dealing with partners during a sale? Can get messy.
Oh yeah, partners can't always live with them. He stresses needing expert help to navigate disagreements if partners aren't aligned on selling. And thinking about the successor, help them succeed, blend the old wisdom with the new,
And those back burner ideas.
revisit them, maybe implement one to boost value, or at least package them up as potential opportunities for the buyer. Remember, your customers are key. Where would you be without customers? Their loyalty adds value. Tackle the elephant in the boardroom, that lingering issue or difficult person before you sell.
Get your ducks in a row.
Exactly. Dress underperformers, fix broken processes before due diligence starts. And finally, remember, you don't have to do it alone. We all need guides and cheerleaders. Get support. Then he starts listing specific tips for increasing value.
Like getting objective help, rethinking the business.
All right, customers, competition, industry trends, technology. Take a fresh look.
Okay, so wrapping this up. Transitioning a business, especially for Babos, it's a huge undertaking.
Deeply multifaceted, profoundly significant. You've got the financials, the emotions, the strategy, the planning. It all interconnects.
All right.
And usually you really do need that expert guidance.
And hopefully this deep dive, drawing on Gilboard's moving forward, has given you, the learner, a valuable shortcut, a clear map of that complex territory.
Exactly. We've tried to hit the really key takeaways from the book today.
So building on that last point about increasing your company's value, here's something to think about. Beyond getting help, beyond re-evaluating things, what's one single, maybe unconventional step you could actually take, like today, that would make your company genuinely more appealing to a buyer down the road?
Unconventional.
Yeah, maybe it's finally having that really difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or implementing some small tech upgrade you keep putting off, or maybe even proactively reaching out to a potential strategic partner, just to explore possibilities. What's that one thing? It might be uncomfortable, might be outside the box.
But could have a disproportionate impact.
Exactly. Could yield real returns when it comes time to transition. Definitely something to mull over.